Home composting, a technique within everyone's reach. Starting mixture is essential to the success of the process. The base of this mixture will be garden waste that you have collected for a few weeks in an aerated container, such as a trellis. This should be protected from the weather. Fruit and vegetable peelings, eggshells and coffee grounds can also be added to the starting mix, but not cooked leftovers or meat. Branches are very interesting because they bring structure to the mixture, allowing air to circulate. If you have chickens, their manure can also be added to the mix in small quantities. Woody material should be finely chipped or better still shredded. It is important to use a shredder which defibrates the wood in order to allow the microorganisms to attack it. If the wood is only chopped into pieces, it will not degrade. If the mixture is very woody, it might be advisable to add 1 or 2 handfuls of horn chips per 100 liters of mixture to boost the process. Add 5 to 10% of mature compost to the starting mixture to inoculate it with the microorganisms responsible for the process. For the microorganisms to work, your mixture must also be humid enough. Add water if necessary. Once the input material is well mixed, the composter can be filled. There are various types of composters to choose from, made of wood, plastic, or even of cement. Be careful to choose a size of composter adapted to the quantity of organic waste that you want to treat. Controlling the process is essential to produce high-quality compost. Temperature is an important parameter. If the conditions for composting are optimal, the temperature in the center of the material will rise between 55 and 70 degrees at the beginning of the process. This is due to an intense activity of the microorganisms involved in the composting process. The rise in temperature destroys weed seeds and pathogens that might be present in the input material. Mixing the compost is important to control the process, to correct certain parameters and to obtain a homogeneous product. The first mixing is carried out 7 to 10 days after the beginning of the process, the second about 3 weeks later, and a third can be carried out after about 3 months. During the mixing process, it is important to control the moisture of the compost. You can do this with a simple fist test. When you squeeze a fistful of compost and water runs out between your fingers, the compost is too wet. You should then add dry matter such as leaves or straw. When you open your hand and the compost remains compact, its humidity is just right. If the compost falls apart, it is too dry and you must add water. After a few months, the compost is ready to be used. Good quality compost is good for your garden. It provides fertilizing elements to feed the plants, stable organic matter and humus to improve the soil structure, and a community of useful organisms that can protect plants against diseases. When you look at the mature compost, you can't recognize the original input material anymore, except for the bits of wood and twigs. Its smell should remind you of a forest floor. Depending on its use, the compost will have to be sieved. You can do that with a throwing sieve. If you have larger quantities of compost, a rotary sieve may be more appropriate. Various commercial models are available. Compost is mainly sieved to make potting soil mixtures or to put in the planting holes of vegetables such as tomatoes or cucumbers. When using compost in this way, never put it pure in the planting hole, but mix it beforehand with an equal amount of garden soil. Pure compost is too rich for the roots of the plants. In the garden, distribute the compost evenly, up to a maximum of 5 to 10 liters per square meter. Then spread it thinly over the entire surface. And finally, incorporate it into the first few centimeters of the soil. Now you know how it works. It's up to you to make a start.